All right, let's dive in. Today we're exploring garlic. Not just how to use it, but like the actual chemistry behind it. What makes it so pungent, and why is it considered so healthy?
Huh. It really is amazing when you think about it, right? Like we're doing chemistry every time we chop some garlic for dinner.
Yeah, like when you crush garlic and you immediately get that strong smell, what is actually going on there chemically?
Well, it all starts with sulfur, right? Garlic's packed with sulfur compounds, but they're all tucked away in these tiny compartments.
Like little time bombs waiting to go off?
You got it. The crushing basically breaks those compartments open, and that's when the magic happens. This enzyme, alliinase, suddenly bumps into this sulfur compound called
And boom, what happens then?
allicin. That's what gives garlic its distinctive aroma, and it's also a big part of why garlic can be so good for you.
No way. So that pungent smell is actually a sign of healthy stuff being created. So cool. But, raw garlic could be pretty intense, like way stronger than cooked garlic. Does that have something to do with allicin too?
It totally does. Allicin, you see, is pretty unstable. It breaks down fairly quickly into other compounds, and heat speeds up that process. So cooking garlic basically deactivates that alliinase enzyme.
So you're making less of that allicin.
Right. Instead, you end up with these compounds called thiosulfonates.
Thiosulfonates, those are like the ones connected to health benefits, right?
Exactly. Some research even suggests they might help with things like blood pressure and cholesterol.
Whoa. So does that mean cooked garlic is actually like healthier?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, raw garlic has more allicin, but cooking can actually make some beneficial compounds easier for our bodies to absorb. It's about bioavailability.
Oh, right. It's not just about how much is there, but also how much your body can actually like use.
Exactly. Food's pretty complex.
I'm definitely realizing that. But you mentioned thiosulfonates are like a whole group of compounds. Are there any particularly interesting ones, like health-wise?
A few, yeah. One type seems to be a powerful antioxidant, and another one they're looking at for fighting infections.
Wow. So we're talking like heart health, immune system, maybe even fighting off infections. That's pretty impressive for just like a clove of garlic.
Yeah, but keep in mind, a lot of the research is still pretty early. We need more studies to confirm all this. But garlic's been used in traditional medicine for ages, so there's definitely something there.
It's like science is catching up to what people have like intuitively known forever.
Definitely. Traditional practices often hold a lot of wisdom.
So true. Okay, before we move on, there's this one thing that's always bothered me about garlic. Yeah, all the health benefits are great, but then there's the aftermath.
You mean the dreaded garlic breath.
Yep, brushing, mouthwash, nothing seems to completely get rid of it. What's the deal with that?
It's those sulfur compounds again. They actually get into your bloodstream, you see, and then they're released through your lungs and skin as your body processes them.
So it's not just my mouth. I'm basically like exhaling garlic.
Pretty much. The most effective solution, honestly, is just time. But things like parsley or even chewing on coffee beans can help a bit.
So it's a flavor battle against the sulfur compounds.
You could say that.
Okay. And one last thing about, garlic. What about supplements? Are they as good as actually eating garlic?
It's tricky. Those supplements, they usually have standardized amounts of allicin or other compounds, but the manufacturing process can mess with how well your body absorbs them. Bioavailability, again.
So even if the allicin is there, your body might not be able to use it all.
Right.
Gotcha. Well, this has been eye-opening. I feel like I'm looking at garlic in a whole new way now.
It is fascinating, isn't it? But we've only scratched the surface. There's so much more to garlic than meets the eye. Before we move on, though, I had this thought. We were talking about how the liver processes things differently throughout the day, right?
You mean its circadian rhythm?
Yeah, that's it. So, since those liver enzymes fluctuate, do you think the timing of when you eat garlic could maybe affect how it works in your body?
That's really interesting. You're thinking like if you eat it when your liver's more active, you might get more benefits?
Just a thought, but definitely something to think about.
I love it. Makes you realize how much we still don't know. Okay, we'll take a break here and come back with even more garlic goodness.
When you really get into garlic, you realize just how much chemistry is going on in our food all the time.
It's true. And we've only talked about one ingredient, right? It's kind of mind-blowing.
Oh yeah, we're just getting started because now we're gonna zoom out, see how garlic sits into different cultures, all around the world.
Oh, I love this part. Food's like a time machine and a passport all in one.
Exactly. And garlic's been around forever. It's been cultivated for over 7,000 years.
Seriously. 7,000 years. That's crazy.
I know, right? And it's had all these different roles. In some cultures, it represents their strength. And in others, it's used to like ward off evil
Oh,
spirits.
yeah, like those garlic braids people hang up for good luck, right?
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about how different cultures actually use garlic, like in their cooking. What are some of the most interesting examples you've come across?
Ooh, good question.
Well, one that always comes to mind is toum. It's this amazing garlic sauce from the Levant. Just garlic oil, lemon, and salt. But the way they make it, it gets super creamy and flavorful. They use it on everything.
Oh, yeah, Tim is so good. What else?
Oh, and then there's black garlic. Have you tried black garlic?
I haven't actually. I keep seeing it everywhere, but
Oh, you have to. It's like totally different from regular garlic. Fermented, so it gets all sweet and sticky, almost like balsamic vinegar, but garlicky.
wow. Okay, I'm adding it to my list. But, we were saying earlier how versatile garlic is, but even within one cuisine, they use it in so many different ways, right?
You're right. Take Italian food. You have like aglio e olio, where garlic is the star. And then there are dishes where it's more subtle, like in the background of a sauce or something.
That's a great point. So it's not just about using garlic, it's about how you use it to get different flavors and textures and everything.
Exactly. You can mince it, crush it, roast it. I mean, the possibilities are endless, right?
And each technique like brings out something different.
Yeah.
Speaking of techniques, we talked about garlic breath earlier, but um, anything else we could do to tame that beast?
Well, beside, no, parsley and all that, some cooking methods can actually mellow garlic out a bit.
Really?
Yeah, roasting, for example, it brings out this sweetness, and taking out that little green sprout in the middle, that can help too.
Oh, that's good to know. Okay, back to garlic diversity for a minute. We know there are tons of varieties, right? Like, what are the main ones and how are they different?
So most people just know the regular white garlic from the store, which is usually a soft neck variety, good for storage and pretty mild, but there's so much more out there.
Yeah, fill us in.
Hardneck garlic, for one, way bolder flavor, and they often grow those curly scapes, which are edible, by the way, and those.
Oh, yeah, scapes. They're great grilled.
Totally. Some popular hardneck varieties are rocambole, which is kind of spicy, and purple stripe, gorgeous garlic and strong flavor.
Okay, now I really want to branch out. But with so many options, how do you even choose?
Farmer markets are great for that. You can talk to the growers, they know their stuff, and don't be afraid to like ask questions at fancy food stores or even just your regular grocery store.
Yeah, that's a good point. I forget that, like, real people grew this food. They probably love talking about it.
Totally. And here's a tip for picking good garlic. Look for bulbs that are firm and plump. Tight skin, no mold or anything.
So basically, it should look healthy and ready to go, not like it's about to, keel over.
Right. And speaking of alive, did you know that garlic isn't actually a root? It's a bulb.
Wait, what? I always thought it was a root vegetable.
It's a common mistake. The part we eat is actually a stem, but underground, storing energy for the plant.
Whoa, mind blown. This is like garlic 101.
See? Food's full of surprises, even something as basic as garlic.
Seriously. Well, I think we've covered pretty much everything there is to know about garlic, right? We talked about the chemistry, the health benefits, the history, how it's used all over the world, how to pick good
It's
ones.
been quite a journey, but there's always more to learn about food, right?
So true. Let's leave our listeners with something to think about.
Okay, so remember how the liver processes garlic and it has its own rhythm and all that? Well, what if the timing of when you eat garlic actually matters? Like, what if it affects how your body uses it?
Whoa, that's an interesting thought. So, like, if you eat it when your liver is most active, you might get more of the benefits.
Exactly. It's just the theory, but worth considering, don't you think?
I love it. It's a good reminder that we still have so much to learn.
That's the beauty of food and science, right? Always something new to discover.
Well said. All right, time for a break. We'll be back with more garlic woodness in a bit. Man, after all that garlic talk, I am seriously craving some garlic bread or maybe some pasta with lots and lots of garlic.
Me too. But, before we all run off to cook up a garlicky feast, I think there's one thing we haven't really covered. We've talked about, like, the science and the history and all that, but what about the practical stuff?
Like how to actually use all this garlic knowledge in the kitchen. Yeah, tell me more.
Exactly. We got to talk about buying garlic, storing it. Choosing the right kind of garlic can, like, totally change a dish.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. I usually just kind of grab whatever looks okay at the store. Is there a better way?
Oh, for sure. Remember all those different varieties we talked about, like rocambole and purple stripe and elephant garlic? You're not going to find those at the supermarket. How to go to farmers markets or maybe like a specialty store.
Right, right. But okay, let's say I find some awesome garlic. How do I know if it's like good quality?
All right, so here's what you want to look for. First, the bulb should be firm, not like squishy or anything. The skill should be dry and papery, and no bruises, no mold.
So basically, it should look healthy, like it's still got some life in it.
Exactly. And then check the cloves themselves. They should be like packed in there nice and tight and no sprouts. If you see sprouts, that means it's getting old.
Okay, firm, tight, no sprouts. Got it. Anything else?
Yeah, the size of the cloves matters too. Depends what you're making, you know? If you're just like mincing it up for a sauce, smaller cloves are easier to work with, but for roasting, you want the big ones.
Oh, that makes sense. So you got to match the garlic to the cooking method. Okay, so let's say we've got our awesome garlic. Now, how do we store it? Like to keep it fresh as long as
This is
possible?
important. Garlic needs to breathe, you know? So best thing is a mesh bag or like a basket and keep it somewhere cool and dry. Definitely not the fridge. The moisture will make it sprout faster.
So basically, treat it like a delicate little flower, lots of air, no moisture.
Pretty much. And the fresher it is, the stronger the fluid is going to be. So, use it up while it's good.
Okay, great tips. Anything else before we say goodbye to garlic?
Just one thing, don't be afraid to, play around with it. Try different varieties, different ways of cooking it. There's so much you can do with garlic. It's amazing.
That's what I'm taking away from this whole deep dive, I think. Just how incredible garlic is. It's delicious, it's good for you, it's got all this history.
Yeah, and every time you chop some garlic or roast it or whatever, you're basically doing this ancient chemistry experiment that people have been doing for, thousands of years.
Mind-blowing. Well, I think that about wraps up our garlic deep dive.
It's been fun. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone. We hope you learned something new and maybe feel inspired to try some new garlic recipes.
And until next time, happy cooking! 6C2R